Last time on Beauty History, we covered AI, AR, and ML terminology. We also had an overview of emerging tech programs, hardware, and software, and how beauty retailers are harnessing the power of AR to let you virtually try on looks and increase sustainability efforts. We showed you how some brands and artists are making their debut in the metaverse and what it means to the future of beauty. In this episode, we dive into generative AI and film. Stay tuned. So I just wanted to take 2 minutes and say thank you to Ana Luisa Jewelry, New York. So it's Ana Luisa NY for sending the jewels that I'm wearing in today's video. I don't usually collaborate with jewelry brands. This is my first time ever collaborating with a jewelry brand, and I just loved their designs. They're very high quality. If you have sensitive skin, I also have sensitive skin. I have not had any adverse reactions to the earrings so far. They have not turned my skin green. Um, Carbon neutral packaging, you guys. Really big deal. I mean, jewelry is jewelry, right? So it's like it's going to come from somewhere, but at least the shipping is carbon neutral and it's long lasting. Did I say that? Also tarnish resistant. Designs also start at $39. Also, I don't know that there's a great way to show you this packaging, but the packaging is so good. It's got this, is it a little ASMR here? These magnetic, like really heavy metal clasps, and they're little canvas bags. So they're really good at holding a lot of stuff. I mean, you could hold your lashes in here, you could hold jewelry in here, you could use it as a wallet. I mean, really great reusable canvas bags that the jewelry comes shipped in. So I really like the packaging. I like the presentation. I really like the jewelry, to be honest. And anyway, hope you guys enjoy it. 20% off using my code Cici Andersen 20. Now, back to the movie. Most of us are familiar with AR in some way, but maybe you're not aware that you enjoy AR in film. AR, or augmented reality, overlaps with CGI and is sometimes called visual effects or VFX for short. Films like The Terminator is an early example of great CGI in film, or for example, the dragons in the television show Game of Thrones. But more impressively are effects like the reverse aging of actor Harrison Ford in Indiana Jones: The Dial of Destiny, or the superimposing of Hugh Jackman's head onto his stunt performer's body in the Logan movie, or the fact that some scenes had no stunt performer at all but were merely digital renderings entirely. More subtle effects like skin enhancements are also applied digitally to actors. If they've had a bad day, bad breakout, small blemish, no problem, we'll just use face tracking to solve that. Now, in my time as a makeup artist, I have witnessed a lot of brands come under fire for digitally altering their photographs, airbrushing, photo manipulation, all that stuff. A lot of celebrities as well for making themselves look thinner in photographs. But what people may not know is that this technology has been around for 100 years. Maybe not exactly in the way that we achieve it today, but some version of it. Let's call it Victorian Photoshop. Photographers could etch the photograph and retint with watercolors, balsam, and resin tinctures, and this was standard practice after some experimentation in the 1840s. For instance, take a look at this unretouched portrait of Joan Crawford by George Hurrell. This is from Laughing Sinners in 1931. On the right, we have the same portrait after the retouch artist James Sharp spent 6 hours using a device that vibrated the negative, allowing him to physically smooth out the skin using a pencil. And while yes, the technology is getting more and more deceptive, it is hard to tell what is AI and or a bot versus a human. It's important to note that we've been deceived for a really long time. So I want to talk a little bit about how AI has impacted the entertainment industry, but before we get into that, I want to talk a little bit about what I've seen as the shift has happened. Now, a year ago, I was just watching YouTubers use ChatGPT to create like guided makeup tutorials, which was kind of lame and funny at the same time, and I enjoyed watching it. It seemed pretty benign. But now I'm watching people create fully like just beautiful editorial campaigns using nothing but the click of a mouse and or just like the stroke of a key. So this is becoming a little bit scary for people in my field because what used to take teams of people to do now just takes one or two people in general, and you're able to create really high quality work. So with that said, I do think that some of the things that generative AI is doing really levels the playing field for a lot of people that may otherwise not be able to join the industry because of their location, because of their financial resources, or just because nobody lets them tell their story. And it really is a great equalizer for anybody that can afford to have the tech available to them. I've been using apps like Midjourney, Runway ML, and Adobe to experiment with digital filmmaking. The technology used for this type of software is called generative AI. It generates text, images, and other data using generative models, often in response to prompts or links to pictures or websites and other data inputs. So members can join the Discord app and then log into Midjourney, for instance, to create images. The program entered open beta in July 2022, and in a little bit over a year's time, we've seen the images become sharper, more accurate, and highly stylized. People are now even selling their prompts on the internet to create more stylized images. With software like Runway ML, image makers can use prompts or the new Gen 2 motion brush tool to bring them to life. It's literally like magic. It's like you just brush the little motion brush over the area you want to see move, and all of a sudden it moves. And it looks quite natural. I mean, yes, there's still some like phasing, or as they call it, hallucinations, where you might get an extra finger in there, or like there's a little bit of warping. But if the technology has gotten this good over 1 year's time, imagine how good it's going to be in 10 years' time. I mean, I'm both excited and a little bit scared. So, I just wanted to share with you guys something that I actually made with my partner, Jared Grogan, that you might remember from the beginning of the video. We actually competed in a 48-hour film festival for Runway ML, and we created this little short. So I just want to show you a little quick clip. So I just have some notes here about how we created this little video. I mean, we created shots in Midjourney, and then we ran them through the Runway ML green screen, as well as we generated some of the images within Runway ML itself, because it also has a text to video prompting capability. We use some traditional, like I said, some traditional VFX in green screen, and then we uploaded them. We literally stayed up all night until 6 o'clock in the morning to meet the deadline, but it was just the two of us working from a text prompt we got at like 9 a.m. for 2 days straight to create a short like from scratch. And just to for some perspective, if this was a real film and these shots were real film, this would have taken months to do with a real crew, and we did it in 48 hours. And some of the images, I have to say, do look film quality to me. They do look pretty real. So to just say, like, I think that this is going to completely radically change the state of the film industry, is an understatement, because while some films, of course, will still get made, as some TV shows, especially reality shows, I think will still exist, and we'll still see those being produced because they're cheap to make and people consume them like crazy. But I do think that for some of the bigger budget stuff, we may see a lot of the VFXy shots that used to be done in real time kind of fall away to a lot of wides that are made with digital renderings like this. Yeah, it's a little scary. It's a little scary. A little scared for my job, you guys. But I'll report back in a couple years and tell you if I'm still alive or if I vanished vanished to to AI, if I'm still doing makeup or if I've moved on to becoming a full-time VFX artist. I'll let you know. So I definitely think that participating in the 48-hour film festival was an invaluable experience. It definitely opened my eyes to what might be coming down the pipeline in terms of workflow for the film industry, what might be possible in the future, and through a lot of research as to how to create our short film. I also came across some really great apps like Insight Face, which I thought was interesting because you can create these images through the generative AI models and then digitally impose your face or your friends' faces onto the images that you create. You could be the star of your own movie very soon, and you could be starring in your own like amazing epics or fantasy films and putting yourself in situations that you would never be in real life. But and please do with that information what you will, and be good, you guys. Be good. Be good. Deep fakes of celebrities, identity thefts, and complete AI-generated models, voice clones, and chatbots are flooding the internet, and it's increasingly difficult to tell what's human.
It's all the real thing.
In this new world, seeing is no longer believing. And it's not just used for uploaded content, but live streaming as well. This means that you can be watching someone technically perform live, but with a massively altered face or body filter. Generative AI photography has also leveled up on apps like Epic or Remini, allowing you to enhance photos, go back in time, or even create luxurious or fantasy versions of yourself. Not to mention pro apps like Adobe's expanding backdrops. The generative fill, which allows you to customize a space and create the illusion of a bigger, better set and backgrounds, has been a great tool for creatives worldwide. On that subject, Alibaba Group's anticipated software Animate Anyone is said to only need one photo image to generate an animated sequence. In simple terms, the creative process is about to get streamlined and very specific. But you know, we are all a group of artists at the end of the day. Well, most of us anyway. And not everyone's happy about these new innovations in tech. Some artists have even taken their photography, hair, and makeup styling skills to combat this kind of technology. Artist and photographer Adam Harvey has been working on projects like CV Dazzle since 2020. This acts like camouflage to break machine vision systems and protect one's identity while still being recognizable to the human eye. With the use of makeup and hairstyles, Mr. Harvey investigates the potential for a style that was functional against the face recognition algorithm, but still functions within the margins of conceptual fashion. Harvey continues to work on digital identity and privacy, and I'll provide a link to more of his work below because I think it's really interesting. But Adam isn't the only one doing this kind of work. Polish designer Iwa Nowak, I really hope I'm saying that right, has created a solution for this kind of Big Brother-esque type monitoring by using the elegant and minimal metal masks that she calls incognito. 2023 was also a really important year for actors and writers negotiated with the AMPTP and eventually went on strike, causing the industry to come to a halt. The nearly 100-year-old premise of the 1927 film Metropolis plays out before our eyes. Like Marissa said, even Beyoncé makes reference to it in her 2023 Renaissance tour. In July 2023, actors joined the Hollywood writers on the picket line, striking against the Alliance of Motion Picture and Television Producers. This marked the start of the first dual work stoppage since 1960. Beyond just standard negotiations, Hollywood faced a new frontier of bargaining due to advances in AI technology. Some actors fear that AI may replace some job positions entirely, while others seek safeguards for their likeness. The argument on the writer side is that writers who currently use AI to generate new pilot ideas or rework a script could have AI models trained on their previously generated works to produce new scripts and new works that they may or may not ever see compensation for. Then, on October 9th, we finally see the final outcome. The WGA membership officially ratified the contract with 99% of WGA members voting in favor of it. The WGA reserves the right to assert that exploitation of writers' material to train AI is prohibited, and actors got a 7% minimum wage increase, plus consent rules written into place over their digital likeness. So I guess since we're on the subject of struggling hair and makeup artists, this is a great time to ask you to like, share, subscribe, and comment on the video because it really helps the channel. I love making new friends, And if you're feeling particularly generous, you can also leave a super thanks. I didn't know where else to put this little nugget of information on in this video, but I just thought it was a really interesting thing that I came across. This AR creator named Anna, who's AR Candy on Instagram, she creates digital jewelry on Snapchat. On Instagram, she speculates and comments that she believes that in the future, the way that we dress will be informed by our digital reality. That when you put on a set of digital earrings, they look best if you're not already wearing earrings underneath, usually, as well as digital clothing looks best on a nude body. And digital makeup obviously looks best if you are not already wearing something that contrasts or conflicts with the filter. So she speculates that perhaps we'll all be wearing tight fitted, nude colored clothing or something to be able to change our outfits just kind of on a whim or something like that. And I just thought that was such an interesting way to look at the future. Perhaps in the future, we'll just roll out of bed and instead of grabbing for our iPhones, we'll grab our AR glasses or have implants in our eyes, or perhaps we'll open our laptops and we'll see a completely digital world where people put on their makeup, hair, costumes, or I mean, wardrobe, earrings, right, jewelry, all digitally, and could just work from the comfort of their home in their normal, natural, God given state. But it's really interesting to think how people will present themselves in that situation. Will you present yourself in your more natural form or something that kind of conforms to who you really are? Or will you choose to pick a fantasy self? Or will you stay young forever and never age? Um, all of those things are interesting to think about. And I hope that in a few years I can look back on this video and say that some of those things came true, while others, I hope we choose the side of good. I hope that people choose to use this technology for the betterment of society. And I recently heard a speaker on another channel. Um, he had posed a question to a lot of adults in a room, and he said, how many of you feel like you are creative? And he said a few people raised their hands. And then he said, how many of you feel like children are creative? And almost everyone raised their hands. And then he said, how many of you used to be children? And everyone raised their hands, right? And it's just a reminder that creativity should be accessible to everyone. I think there is a lot in this AI software that allows a lot of people to express themselves, which I think does lend itself to a healthier society. So while there are some very serious downfalls as well, I think that we will work through them as a society together. It's a reminder to be a little kinder to each other as we work through these times. Nobody is born knowing everything, and everybody has a lot to learn, and we will get through it. So hope you enjoyed this video, and I'll see you next time.
A Cici Andersen production.